Awesome Kissers and CistReactZ, guys, and before the video starts, we have today's sponsor from the Coldest water. So the Coldest water is a company that sells, you know, fucking huge water bottles like this. This one is a 64-ounce water bottle that they sent to me here so I could show you guys their amazing technology. Hell, they even put my name on it. So basically, if you're wondering why these water bottles are so good, they are cold for up to 36 hours. They're fully insulated with 2.0 lid tech, which, you know, this can help you keep your water colder longer. This has no sweat technology, so you won't be seeing water spill off the sides. And actually, I have water in here right now, so if y'all would like to see this right quick. So you gotta make sure the lid's all tight and stuff, and you can hold this upside down and the water will not fall out. Like, this thing is great. This thing is a beast. It also has it to where it can fit in cup holders. Yeah, I know this thing is freaking huge, but this thing fits in cup holders. But this thing, even though it looks super huge, it's not too freaking big for cup holders, as I was saying. Has this little rubber grip that comes with it, so yeah, helps you keep your grip on this water bottle firm. This is pretty durable. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. When I got this out of the box, I dropped it. All right, because I'm an idiot. I'm clumsy, but this thing, super durable. This will help you keep your water held, keep your water intact. This thing will not break. So yeah, and it came in this beautiful box, by the way. Yeah, you should really use ice with this, by the way. It's saying that, like, fully with ice for the best experience. And yes, this thing will keep it cold for up to 36 hours. Wash with warm soap manually for the longest life. This lid is super wide, so wide mouths can fit. And by the way, let's just take a sip before we start today's video. Almost spilled the water on me. Cold water wants you to stay hydrated. Coldest water. Drink from Coldest water. My referral links will be in the description below. Use code CIST with your next purchase, and you shall have a beautiful water bottle like this. Now, let's get to today's reaction video. That was indeed the Coldest water. What is up, you awesome kissers and CistReactZ, guys? Today we're reacting to how audio enhances the horror of Five Nights at Freddy's. So make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to SCRUFFY, and comment down below. Anyway, guys, let's get into this video. Bye.
Fair warning,
and by the way,
following video regards a horror game, and it will feature some jump scare sounds and overall creepiness.
Yes, it will. Sorry to mute, but if you guys skipped the beginning of this video, I did have a Coldest water bottle little sponsor video. It's pretty funny. You should check it out if you skipped it. Check my referral links at the top of the description below to get yourself a nice little water bottle like this. Really sturdy, really great. You're missing out if you skip the promotion. Anyway, guys, here we go. Now, I asked Scruffy himself can I react to this a long time ago, but I never did it. So let's see it.
Scruffy, and today we'll be talking about Five Nights at Freddy's. An
Okay.
indie horror game that has shaken up the genre and become
A worldwide phenomenon, starting from a single developer with a small budget. And in light of that developer, Scott Cawthon, supporting developers of Five Nights at Freddy's fan games, and also because Halloween is coming up soon,
I got all wet because
I'd
of my
like to take an
promotion.
analytical look at the ways
Just why'd you
sound
watch it?
has made this game so compelling and spooky. I'll only be touching on the first game for now, and I won't be addressing the lore of the game much since there are still so many mysteries about it.
Yeah,
Now,
this
it's
man
been
really
plenty
said
established
I
that
am not a
Five Nights
Matt
at
Pat
Freddy's
by any
is,
means.
or was, frightening, if you haven't played it before.
Oh, it's
And
terrifying.
small wonder, it capitalizes on a broad discomfort with animatronics, robots that fall right in the uncanny valley. Too humanoid to be a cartoon,
This man's
but
going.
moving too mechanically to pass for something living.
Graph to scale.
But even
not
more
hip
than that,
disease.
you are trapped in a
Hypothesized.
single spot, the security office of a pizzeria. While these animatronics not only move where they aren't supposed to, while you aren't looking, but are coming for you specifically.
I love how he actually
It
used
is
the dedicated
a
spots
nightmare
too.
scenario, built off of two pillars.
Nightmare scenario.
The absence of information, which prevents planning, and the absence of action, the inability to fight or flee. Now, if
I would
this were
love to
actually
flee,
a
but
nightmare, those
they
two would
crush my
perpetuate
brain.
until we wake up in a cold sweat. But since this is a game, and there is a win condition, some of these pillars have to be sacrificed to allow the player a chance to think under pressure and win over their stress. And this is where developers like Scott turn to visual signals and audio clues to dole out some control. I say clues because while a map of the pizzeria and camera feeds of the animatronics are clearly helpful visuals, it's more complicated when it comes to audio. some audio works to your advantage, giving you information, and some audio works against you, muddying information, creating unknowns, and even contributing to the absence of action feeling. Let's break down each of these, starting with the advantageous audio. That is, any audio that helps you form a plan
like
and figure
footsteps
out
and all
how
that
to
stuff.
survive. In a scenario with absence of action, you are desperate for
Like hearing
information like
Bonnie's
this.
footsteps
Although at first,
sound like crushing
nothing you
of
hear
bones.
seems advantageous. It all starts out unknown, which is yet more stressful.
Jeez,
It's only after you spend some time...
you gotta love the dedication that goes into this guy's videos. Like, this is my first video I've ever watched by this guy, but, like, you gotta love how everything is used in this video. Every bit of space is used. This man just turned, like, a black space into a spiral for a
in this
transition.
environment
I
and
like
listen
that.
for patterns that you start to pick up where advantages lie. And the sound files of FNAF confirm this line of thinking. For instance, there are 4 different sounds for pots, pans, and oven doors clanging about.
Which Chica uses when you know she's in the kitchen.
Must be important, especially when you can hear these sounds even without using the camera
speaking
system.
of...
Initially,
Ooh, I
this
like
sound
that!
is a stressor.
This
But
man, like,
eventually you
traced
can
over
pick
the
up that
style
the
of
sound
the
is
game.
louder when you look at the kitchen camera, which only has an audio feed.
I should probably move
And then
back.
you pick up that
He's probably
Chica,
gonna play a
the
jump
chicken
scare sound.
animatronic, is nowhere else to be found. So all along, this
I
sound
don't
was
wanna get
actually
jump
trying
scared
to
and knock
help
all
you
this over.
understand that Chica is currently in the kitchen. And going forward, you can determine that without using the camera, saving you some power. Not every advantage in the game has an audio clue, but the ones that do are well designed. Another one you'll hear is Freddy's voice whenever he moves into a new room.
More like his
There are
laugh.
3 versions of this sound.
I've never dealt with Freddy ever when playing Five Nights at Freddy's 1 because I use the strategy where if you keep checking the camera between the show stage and Foxy's Cove, Foxy and Freddy will never move on any night if you check them fast enough.
Again, this can be heard on camera or off.
And just check left
so
and right for
initially
Bonnie
it
and
sounds like
Chica.
some otherworldly threat is just laughing at you. But eventually, with
only
enough
dealt with him
camera
in FNAF
usage, you
VR,
can
which
tie
is
Freddy's
terrifying.
movements to his laughter. In fact, Freddy's difficult to see on
And
camera,
very buggy.
and you've got to conserve power anyway. So for some players,
the
it could
camera
be
sounds?
easier to count the times Freddy laughs to indicate how close he is to the office. The audio may be unnerving, but since it forms a pattern in an otherwise unpredictable environment,
Yeah.
it's advantageous. Now, there's
Oh,
other
if he
audio
laughs
that
5
forms
times, he's at the
patterns,
right
but
corner.
doesn't give you an advantage.
Haha, Scott.
These are just good old sound effects, scored directly to what happens on screen. There are the sounds of the camera feed failing when an
Jesus,
animatronic
man,
you're watching
look at
suddenly
that!
moves. There's the sound of Foxy running down the hall to indicate you have a very limited window of time to save yourself. And the sound of him banging on the door.
Let me in!
These sounds are consistent with their actions, but the player never really picks up help from them. They're mainly to immerse you more in the environment. And you'll notice most of them are diegetic. That is, most of them are sounds that the in-game world would be making. There is one sound that doesn't seem diegetic, however, and that's an audio stinger when Chica or Bonnie appear right in your doorway.
Jesus.
That
I don't
sound
like
is not
I don't like
manufactured by
black and
camera
white
or
Bonnie
machinery,
staring at me like
and
he's
I
gonna
don't
murder
think it's
me.
meant to come from Bonnie or Chica.
Just don't want it.
It's more of a classic horror music cue that makes you jump a little more at something
Stinger.
sudden. A stinger. In fact, I think it's extended technique on a string instrument slowed down 100%. Here it is sped up.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure about that. The little sounds at the very end remind me of handling a violin, but suffice it to say,
Did they
it
add
is
the
non-diegetic
eyes? Jesus,
music
I just
rather
realized
than
the
an
eyes.
in-game sound. These sounds don't help or harm you. They just make the world more real, direct, and intense. And now,
Like
we
the
get to audio
ambience.
that's special for a horror game.
Detrimental.
Audio that's actively
No!
trying to scare you.
Not the
or
jump
even working
scare!
against the information and actions you have. Let's unpack the different ways audio can deter
Muddied
you from beating
information, red
this
herrings,
nightmare.
vaguely vocal.
First, we have what I'm calling muddied information. Audio that isn't clear or that blocks other audio signals. For instance, the cameras make haphazard static noises when they
Yeah,
experience
they-
interference, or when you can hear one panning back and forth.
Yeah,
The
that's
little
what
bit of audio
sounds-
coming from camera feed is also garbled. You know, it's put through a couple of audio filters to simulate a poor transmission of sound energy. So all in
Or,
all,
you know, the
you
kid's
hear
trying to
very
talk
little
to you
straight
through
from
the
the
camera.
source. Plus, there are other sounds getting in the way. The loudest distraction by design is the fan in your office. This remains on for the entire night, buzzing incessantly.
Fan. It's always been
And
that
here,
damn fan.
let me clarify something. I mentioned in a previous video about Animal Crossing New Horizons that having some non-zero sound ambiance actually makes an environment
about Animal
calmer
Crossing, it's less
than
scary.
one with total silence. However, if that ambiance is loud enough that it's harder to pick up audio patterns that matter more, it can become stressful all over again. The fan does quiet down when you're focusing on the camera, but that's
Wait, does
using
it?
power. So
Oh, 'cause
there's
you're
definitely
blocking the
an
fan's
exchange
view.
of
That's why it would
sacrifices
muffle the
between
sound.
you and the
Okay.
game here. The more information you are allowed,
Nice
the more
sound
power
design
you
from
use
Scott
up.
that I didn't
and
know was
the
in
more
the
you
game.
conserve your power, the more information is obfuscated behind filters, distance, and noise.
I wonder if that's in every FNAF.
And then here is the truly devious part. Hidden beneath the noise of that blaring desk fan are not only the sounds that impart information, but other sounds that don't, and are either
What?
meant to confuse you or just scare you more. Sounds like this strange swirling noise.
Yeah, I know that ambience sound. Where did he get that sound effect anyway? Like, what is this sound?
Doesn't really signify anything other than a creepy atmosphere that can't be identified.
Yeah.
Same with these even subtler noises.
Don't you do it. Don't you do it. What other noises are you referring to? Just the ambience, right? Because, yeah. I know this sound like the back of my head.
They're just barely audible under the fan.
Put a
But this
blindfold
sound
under
in
my eyes and
particular
put that
is
sound in
resonant
my
enough
ears.
that
I
you
just
can
know it's
discern
FNAF
it.
1.
Your ear just can't make out any details, and thus it's another potential stressor. This time, though, you don't pick up any pattern or advantage from it. It's just sometimes there, conveying some vaguely metallic sound far in the distance. Other red herrings fit a bit more specifically in the location of a children's pizzeria. Sometimes you'll hear this room recording of a pipe organ, internally called Circus.
Ah, yes. Where's that even coming from? Like, is that coming from Pirate's Cove? Because a lot of people say it's coming from Pirate's Cove, and I don't know, that could be the only place where a sound like this is coming from, because it is out of order. And this
A festive little jingle like
sounds
this
crazy.
feels right at home in a kid's pizzeria or an
glitched
arcade, although it's juxtaposed with the nightmarish scenario.
Yeah.
And once again, it's not giving you any real information, it's just getting you that much more stressed. Same with the song Foxy will occasionally sing, internally called Pirate Song 2.
I would know my arch nemesis Foxy like no other.
You can hear both that and Circus anywhere in the game, and this one specifically can be traced to Foxy's stage, but it doesn't signal anything about Foxy's erratic behavior. It's misleading clues mixed in with the legitimate ones.
Wait, is he saying
One
the
more misleading clue interestingly begins as a
Wait, is he saying the pipe organ or circus organ thing doesn't notify you that Foxy's moving? Because yeah, that's correct. But if Foxy says dum-dum, I know that means he's actually about to move.
legitimate one. At the start of each night, you receive a previously recorded phone call from another
we get a rest in
employee
peace to Phone
who
Guy
has
if
been
you made it
dubbed
this far?
Phone Guy.
His call on the first night sets the scene, shows you
Nice
how
transition,
you're in
dude.
danger, and what actions you
Love
have
that.
to keep animatronics at bay. He keeps things vague, partly because he doesn't know all there is to know about animatronics, and partly because he's skating around the suggestion of mortal peril to try and keep you from quitting. But as the nights progress, you realize that the animatronics will start moving even while this call goes on.
Yeah,
the call
and they're
itself
moving in
gives
his
you
call,
less
too.
and less advantageous information after night one. Instead, Phone Guy sometimes opts to deepen the lore of the game,
And
sometimes
more
give you
confuses people
suggestions
with
that
the
aren't
lore.
actually helpful. For example, during night 3, he advises the player to sit still and try and play dead once Freddy is outside the office. Yet doing so actually has no effect. These phone calls
What?
become serious red herrings.
I think he meant
They
when the power
directly
goes
speak
off.
distracting information
'Cause that
to
does
you,
do something.
and the sound of the phone call
I wonder if he's getting this
interrupts other
confused.
important sounds like Freddy laughing. What initially seems like your only lifeline in this scenario has become yet another problem.
Now, the last category of detrimental audio isn't necessarily messing with your ability to parse other sounds. These are sound effects that make you feel like you're dealing with a supernatural threat. I gave the following sound
yes,
effects a
with the
special
kids
category
laughing.
because they're a lesson in themselves for crafting horror game sounds. The slightest hint of language in an otherwise corrupted, garbled sound. It's like there's information or threats hidden in a message to you.
Or like when Bonnie and
but
Chica
not
are
only is the
moaning
message
once
not
they
in any discernible
break
language,
into your office.
but it also doesn't sound like the messenger is human at all. Scott gives the animatronics in all his games humanoid sound effects, mainly because they've been possessed, but also so that the animatronics can appear to attempt
Or filled with
communicating
remnant.
with you, and it just comes off as alarming supernatural wrath. Here's a sound you'll hear when Bonnie or Chica are right at the corner of your office staring sidelong at you from the camera while their heads twitch.
Dude, you really gotta love that. How we actually traced all over that. Even got the glitches right.
This only happens after night 3, when you've been with them for a while, so it seems
So
to convey the
pissed off.
animatronics'
He is so
aggression
pissed
ramping
off.
up. But why are they making a sound so reminiscent of backwards human speech? Is there a message encoded in there? Why does it sound so off? If we players had the time to answer these questions we ask, we'd figure out that it is a recording of a person reading an excerpt from Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramhansa Yogananda.
Oh yeah!
Performance tuned down.
Because I know they read something
Similar to animatronics
from,
going in the visual uncanny valley, sounds like these go in
the
an
same
audio
book on Night
uncanny
5's
valley,
phone call.
where they're definitely closer to language than any other sound in this library, but they're too distorted for you to recognize who made the words or what they mean. These vaguely vocal sounds are littered throughout FNAF 1, from quick flickering hallucinations
It's me. Oh
to
god.
Night 5's phone call, which is another garbled,
phone
lowered
is more,
passage
like,
from
corrupted,
Autobiography
I like
of a
that.
Yogi, talking about how marvelous mechanisms will make lives easier in future generations. Freddy's laughs also count as vaguely vocal sounds. They are slowed down versions of a child laughing.
Yep.
And if Bonnie or Chica are already in your office, but you have the camera up to avoid
Yeah.
them, they'll make their presence known with
By
these
moaning.
labored breathing noises. There are 4 of
That's
these
actually
sounds,
like what
and
they
unlike
look like.
most of
They're
the
just
sounds in the game,
staring at
these
you.
are dry and remarkably close mic sounds.
Bonnie's
since
being a
Doom
gaming
is right in
channel.
front
Let's
of
go,
you at that
Bonnie.
point. And on that note,
Oh
let's
God,
talk about
chill,
more
Bonnie, I was just joking,
endgame
damn.
sounds, beginning with losing the game by letting animatronics get into your office. Before you hear any right in front of you, you might first test the light button and find it no longer works.
Oh god.
Ordinarily, the light gives out a harsh
Yeah, that's the
electric
you're
hum
fucked
when you turn
sound.
it on. And
Got
it
it.
flickers. The sound is not consistent. When you first test this light, the sound and flickering combined immediately demonstrate absence of action. They make you think, this shoddy little light bulb is my last line of defense? Of course, as it is one of the few actions you can perform, you immediately miss it, and tension spikes up when you suddenly hear this short, curt sound instead. Presuming you can't hide in the cameras long enough, you're about to get the infamous Five Nights at Freddy's jump scare, the sound for which I'll be playing in 3, 2,
Ah, he warned
1.
me. You got the jump scare down, dude. I love it. You're not supposed to warn me.
Yeah.
You're supposed to scare me.
It's pretty well known at this point that this is a cut-off, overdriven sound of a child yelling.
No, apparently that's a lady giving an alien birth from a movie.
Which fits the lore behind the game, and again, is just vocal enough.
That's what people
If
found
you're
out.
unlucky enough to encounter Golden Freddy, this sound is slowed down 100%.
Oh god.
No natural comforting
painted
sounds to
Golden
be
Freddy.
found here, but it is a big sudden release of
I
tension.
need to watch more of this
The
guy's
difference
videos.
between that
Let me
and
know if you
winning
want
the
more
game
Scuffy on my
is that
channel.
in
Or
winning the
Scruffy.
game you get laudatory sounds of chimes and children cheering, which are finally close and resonant sounds free of heavy distortion and garbling. And then, in a twistedly comedic fashion, those celebratory sounds get truncated by silence as the next night begins. The final endgame condition is using up all your power, which shuts everything off with this
Ooh.
long descending
The
drone.
environment.
I'd say there is cold
Don't
comfort
move,
here.
you
It's a release
fool!
of tension from checking cameras and shutting doors constantly. Like, there's less information to worry about not having. But there's also total absence of action. All you can do
Is
is
wait for the footsteps to creep
whichever
up
comes
on you.
first.
Yeah.
Freddy's blood-curdling scream, or the jubilant chimes of 6 a.m. After this first stage of just you and the drone, we get the second stage, where Freddy shows up at the door and plays his tune,
Oh
the
god.
refrain of an aria commonly called the Toreador March from the opera Carmen by Georges Bizet,
I love how you can see
and
the
played on a
shadows,
music
like, in front of the
box,
teeth and
once
shit.
again juxtaposing
Jesus.
the sound of childish play
much
and
dedication, I
lullaby
love
with
this guy.
impending supernatural death. The refrain itself is fitting. It describes the Toreador, the bullfighter who dreams both of the bull's eyes watching them and the love that
Wait,
awaits
what?
them if they succeed.
I've never seen the lyrics
Good
of that
metaphor
song.
for this moment, only to be cut off again by the final stage. Total silence, total darkness, no more information, no more action, no more...
He blanked out. You dick.
It's stressful, right? I'm not going to play a jump scare here. I'm
Yeah, you
just
are.
showing how a little silence
I don't
goes
trust
a long
you!
way. All of these sounds go a long way. They perform
Your
functions
video's
beyond
about
just a
audio.
scary atmosphere. They deal in the information and agency with which the player controls the
I
game.
should be like, sorry,
FNAF
he's a
1
jump scare.
doesn't solely rely on sounds to create its atmosphere or to play with the player. The sounds are rather a supplement to everything else. The animatronics don't make any noise on camera, and they still prove scary enough just to look at, especially when they stare right back at you.
buddy, how you doing?
But then the sounds as they approach the office enhance the experience, supporting the frightening visuals with unsettling and unnatural voices and noise. It's not the only way to craft a horror game soundtrack, but it's a token of playing to audio's
Fast token.
strengths. And that is how Five Nights at Freddy's turns a nightmare into a game. I'd like to thank my friend Wolfgang for helping me put together this script, and I'd like to thank my supporters on Patreon. If
Right.
you'd like to vote on what music I
I think that's pretty
Scruffy.
much it. Yeah, alright. Jesus Christ. Like, Scruffy, with those visuals, man, you can't be stopped. That was pretty great. I like how he, makes like a... he made another sound-based video for Mario, so I think he's like a sound-based channel and how it enhanced video games. That I like this idea. Y'all should like ask me to react to more of Scruffy. I really like the idea of this man's channel. If you guys like this reaction video, make sure you guys hit the like button, comment, subscribe from Quick History today. I'll see you guys later. Peace out. And I'm sorry for the late upload on this video. I was meant to react to this like 2 months ago.